Imagine for a moment that your life, your very soul, is a great house that you are building. Every day, you add to its structure. Your relationships are its rooms, your career is its framework, and your inner peace is its shelter. Now I ask you the most important question a man can ever face. On what ground have you laid your foundation? Because a house built on a weak foundation is not a home. It is a trap. It looks stable in the calm, sunny days of life. But the moment the first storm hits, the first rejection, the first betrayal, the first great failure, you feel the floor tremble beneath your feet. You see the cracks spiderwebbing across the walls of your confidence. You live in a state of constant, low-grade anxiety, terrified of the inevitable storm that you know will one day come and level your entire reality. This is not just a metaphor. This is a psychological architecture that governs your existence. Every man builds his life upon one of three foundations. The vast majority, without ever realizing it, build upon the shifting, treacherous ground of sand. A smaller, more disciplined group learns the hard work of building upon a solid, powerful foundation of stone. And a select, wise few discover the secret of going even deeper, anchoring their entire being to the eternal, unshakable bedrock of reality itself. Today, you are the master architect. This is a masterclass in psychological construction. We will give you the blueprints to diagnose, with unflinching honesty, the ground upon which you are currently building. And then, we will teach you the ancient art of Stoic engineering, the principles required to clear away the unstable ground and begin the great work of laying a new, formidable foundation of stone. Let us begin by examining the most common and most dangerous of all foundations. Let us walk through the house built on sand. The man who builds on sand has constructed his entire sense of self from materials that are inherently unstable. The sand is the shifting ground of external validation. It is the approval of his partner. It is the likes on his social media posts. It is the opinions of his friends. It is the fleeting, momentary high of a compliment. These are the grains of sand he has packed together, hoping they will hold. Life inside the house of sand is a life of constant, gnawing anxiety. He is a man who is perpetually checking the weather report. He analyzes his partner's moods like a meteorologist tracking a hurricane, knowing that her emotional storm could wash away his foundations at any moment. He obsessively checks his phone, mistaking the notifications for structural reports on his own worth. His energy is not spent building his house higher. It is spent on frantic, desperate repairs. When he feels a crack of disapproval, he patches it with people-pleasing. When he senses a tremor of potential conflict, he props up the walls with agreeableness. He avoids the truth. He suppresses his own needs, and he abandons his own principles, all in a desperate attempt to keep his fragile structure from collapsing. He does not live in his house. He is a permanent maintenance man for it, exhausted from the endless work of keeping an unstable thing from falling. The great Stoic insight is this: the man's fundamental error is building his identity on what they called indifference, things that are entirely external to his own will and character. He has built a house made of other people's opinions, and he is then surprised when it is unstable. He is trying to build a fortress on the beach, and is constantly shocked when the tide comes in. If you recognize this feeling, if you have ever felt the floor of your own confidence tremble when you were rejected or criticized, if you're tired of living in a state of constant, anxious repair, then you know you have been building on sand. The decision to seek a new foundation is the most important decision an architect can ever make. It is the moment you decide to become a master builder of your own life. Commit to that decision now by subscribing to this channel. Join a community of men who are trading the shifting sands for solid stone. Lay your first foundation stone with that click. The journey from a house on sand to a house on stone is the great work of a man's life. It is the ascension from a state of childish fragility to one of adult strength. This is not a simple renovation. It is a complete demolition and a new construction from the ground up. This is the blueprint for stone. The first step in any great construction is to survey the ground and clear the debris. You cannot lay a stone foundation on top of sand. You must first clear the unstable ground. This is a Stoic practice of ruthless self-examination. You must, with the cold, objective eye of an engineer, identify the specific sands upon which you have built your life. This is the work you do with a journal. You must ask the hard questions. From where do I derive my primary sense of validation? Whose approval do I fear losing the most? In what areas of my life do I say one thing and do another? What truths am I avoiding to maintain a false peace? This process is like bringing in the excavators. It is messy. It is difficult. It requires courage. You must dig until you've cleared away all the soft, easy lies and have hit the hard ground reality. With the ground cleared, you can now lay the first massive cornerstone of your new foundation. This is the stone of a driving purpose. A life built on a clear, internally derived mission is a life that no longer needs the shifting sands of external approval. Your purpose, your telos, is a solid ground upon which you can rest your entire structure. It is the answer to the question, why do I exist? A man with a powerful answer to that question is not easily shaken by the opinions of others. Your mission becomes your primary focus. It is the great cathedral you are building. The noise from the marketplace of social opinion becomes irrelevant. The emotional weather of your relationship is just that, weather. It no longer threatens the foundation of your entire world, because the foundation of your world is now the great work you have chosen to do. The approval of others is a pleasant bonus, a nice decoration for the house, but it is not the foundation. The foundation is your own unwavering why. With the cornerstone of your purpose in place, you must now lay the other stones and bind them together. These are the stones of your disciplined habits, and they are held together by the unbreakable mortar of integrity. A foundation is not one single block. It is a system of interlocking stones. These are your daily, non-negotiable disciplines. The discipline of training your body is a stone. The discipline of educating your mind is a stone. The discipline of focusing on your work is a stone. The discipline of keeping your word is a stone. Each day that you choose to do the hard thing you said you would do, you are laying another stone in your foundation. Each time you choose discipline over distraction, you are mixing the mortar of your own integrity, the congruence between your values and your actions. This is where we can borrow from the defiant will of Nietzsche. It is a will to power over yourself, the will to impose a deliberate, rational order upon the chaos of your own impulses. It is the act of becoming your own master builder. When a man has done this work, when he has cleared the sand, laid the cornerstone of his purpose, and mortared it together with the integrity of his daily disciplines, he is a new man. He is no longer living in the fragile shack on the beach. He is now the master of a fortress built on stone. He is the architect of his own reality. His house is strong, impressive, and secure. He can now watch the storms of life gather on the horizon, not with anxiety, but with quiet confidence. He can hear the winds of criticism howl and the rains of emotional turmoil beat down, and know that his foundation will hold. He has achieved a profound level of peace and power. But the man on the stone foundation, for all his incredible strength, has built his fortress to protect himself from the world. His strength is in his walls. He is still separate from the world, a mighty but isolated structure. The final ascension of a man is not about building stronger walls, but about realizing that he is the mountain itself. It is a journey from building on a foundation of stone to becoming one with the unshakable bedrock of reality itself. We left our hero standing proudly before his new creation. He has performed a miracle of psychological architecture. He has cleared the shifting, treacherous sands of external validation and has, through sheer will and discipline, constructed a formidable fortress upon a foundation of stone. He is no longer the man on the raft, tossed by the waves. He is the master of a stronghold, the captain of his own destiny. He is a man of purpose, a man respected for his strength, a man who can weather the storms that would have once destroyed him. This is the noble and powerful stage of the prince, the duelist, the ship's captain. It is a state of being that 99% of men will never achieve. But the wisest of architects knows that even the strongest fortress is still a prison if you are afraid to leave it. The man on stone has achieved a great victory, but it is a life of constant vigilant defense. His strength is defined by the height of his walls and his ability to repel the outside world. He is safe, but he is separate. His peace is conditional, dependent on his own strength never failing, on his plans never being completely overwhelmed. He has mastered the art of resisting the ocean, but he has not yet learned how to become one with it. The final, most profound ascension in a man's life is not about building stronger walls. It is about digging deeper, past the stone foundation he has laid, until he hits the eternal, unshakable bedrock of reality itself. This is a journey from a life of strength to a life of wisdom, from a state of resistance to a state of profound peace. This is the journey to becoming the man on bedrock. This final construction project is not about adding more stones, but about undergoing 3 fundamental shifts in your very being. This is the deepest work a man can do. The first great excavation is the shift from resistance to unconditional acceptance. The man on stone is a fighter. His life is a noble struggle against the chaos of the world. He uses his discipline and his purpose to impose order on his life, and he is angered or frustrated when the unpredictable nature of reality, a sudden setback, a betrayal, a loss, disrupts his carefully laid plans. He is constantly at war with what is trying to bend it to his will. The man on bedrock makes a radical choice. He lays down his arms. He stops fighting reality. He understands that the ocean will always be the ocean, and its nature is to produce both calm seas and violent storms. Instead of resisting this truth, he embraces it. This is the highest practice of a more fatty, the love of one's fate. He doesn't just tolerate what happens. He accepts it as a necessary and integral part of his own path. Let's make this practical. Imagine a major business project you've worked on for months suddenly fails due to an external factor you couldn't control. The man on stone, the fighter, is enraged. He sees it as a defeat. He looks for someone to blame. His peace is shattered because the world did not conform to his blueprint. The man on bedrock experiences the same initial sting of disappointment. He is human. But his second thought is one of acceptance. This has happened. This is now the new reality. He does not waste a single moment of precious energy wishing it were different. His mind, now free from the exhausting burden of resistance, can immediately pivot to the only question that matters. What is the most virtuous and effective action I can take, starting from this new reality? He understands, as the great Stoic thinkers taught, that every event is neutral. It is just raw material. The failure is not a verdict. It is a new, uncut block of marble delivered to his workshop. He can now carve it into a sculpture of resilience, a lesson in humility, or the foundation of a new, better plan. He has transcended the battle by realizing the only thing worth conquering is his own reaction. The second excavation is the shift from self-interest to service. The man on stone builds his fortress primarily for himself. His purpose, his mission, is the engine of his own success and his own security. This is a necessary and honorable stage. A man must first save himself before he can offer strength to anyone else. But if he remains in this stage, his life, for all its strength, can become a sophisticated form of selfishness. His great power is used only for the benefit of his own small kingdom. The man on bedrock, in digging deeper, discovers profound truth. His own foundation is not isolated. It is connected to the bedrock of all of humanity. He begins to understand the Stoic concept of sympathia, the idea that all things are woven together in a single, interconnected web. He realizes that a fortress that only protects one person is ultimately a meaningless structure in the grand scheme of things. This leads to a dramatic expansion of his purpose. His mission transforms. He no longer asks only, "How can I be stronger?" He begins to ask, "How can my strength serve others?" He no longer asks, "How can I win?" He asks, "How can my victory lift those around me?" This is the moment the king archetype, which Carl Jung spoke of, truly awakens. The king is not the strongest warrior. He is a wise ruler who uses his strength for the flourishing of the entire realm. He becomes the lighthouse. His life's work is no longer just about navigating his own ship to a safe harbor. It is about becoming a source of light, a beacon of stability, to help other ships navigate the storm. In his relationship, his goal is no longer just to have a peaceful and supportive partner for himself. His goal is to use his strength and wisdom to create an environment where she can become the greatest version of herself. His power, once used as a tool for his own survival and success, now becomes a gift he offers to the world. The third and final excavation is the shift from conscious effort to effortless being. The man on stone is a man of immense and admirable effort. His discipline is a conscious, daily act of will. He is the horse breaker, constantly holding the reins on his own impulses. His virtue is a product of his relentless training, a testament to what Nietzsche called the will to power over oneself. This is a life of constant vigilance. The man on Bedrock has practiced his virtues for so long, so consistently, that they are no longer something he does. They are who he is. He has moved from a state of doing to a state of being. He does not have to try to be courageous. His response to fear is now naturally courageous. He does not have to force himself to be temperate. His reaction to impulse is now naturally calm. His virtue has become so deeply ingrained that it is as unconscious and effortless as breathing. This is the ultimate state of mastery, the sword master who no longer needs to think about his technique. This is true Stoic tranquility or apatheia. It is not a lack of feeling, but a state where your emotional and rational selves are in such perfect harmony that your actions flow from you with a kind of effortless grace. You have trained the wild horse for so long that you are no longer a rider struggling to control a beast. You and the horse now move as one unified being. Your good character is no longer an act of will. It is a state of flow. When a man has completed these three great excavations, when he has anchored himself to the bedrock of reality, expanded his purpose to serve others, and integrated his virtues into his very being, he is a new kind of man. He is the man on Bedrock. His presence is a force of nature. It is a quiet, immense gravity. He does not need to announce his strength. It is felt. He is the calmest person in any room, not because he is detached, but because he is so deeply connected to the unshakable truth of reality. In his relationship, he is the ultimate safe harbor. He can withstand the full force of his partner's emotional storms without flinching, not because he is resisting, but because he understands that there are natural weather patterns passing over the eternal landscape of his own being. He loves with the open hand of a man who has conquered the fear of loss, because he is anchored to something that can never be lost, his own virtuous character and his acceptance of fate. He gives his partner the most profound gift a man can offer, the security of a mountain, the peace of the deep earth. The journey of your life is the journey of an architect. You can choose to remain on the shifting sand of public opinion, a life of anxiety and fear. You can undertake the great and noble work of building a mighty fortress of stone, a life of discipline and strength. Or you can choose the final, most difficult, and most rewarding path. You can choose to dig deeper, to go beyond mere strength, and anchor your soul to the eternal bedrock of wisdom and truth. This is the ultimate foundation. This is a source of unshakable peace. This is the final architecture of the complete, virtuous, and truly powerful man. The blueprints are now in your hands. The real work, the great and noble work of your life, begins now. What foundation will you choose to build upon?